from Israel last night. So I have quite a crew that I've interviewed.
Well, if there's no problem for everyone else on this Zoom meeting, I would welcome you because media exposure is something we thirst for and don't get enough of. I will mute you during the meeting if that's all right with you, because this is designed for kind of private conversations with everyone else. So if it's okay with you, I'll mute you now. Is that okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I don't know. Are you muted now? I'm trying. If not, you can mute yourself, Marianne, okay?
Hi, Zena.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Let's quickly go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Sam Sugar. The reason, and by the way, this is being recorded so that we can share it with individuals who couldn't make this meeting. This meeting is about presentations to be made at the April 11th and 12th, 2021 AAAPG Guardianship Symposium, which is going to be virtual. This is the 5th symposium that AAAPG has put together. It will be the largest, I'm quite sure, and it's the first virtual one. So Robin, let's go to you. Introduce yourself, please, and then Luann.
Hi, my name is Robin Austin, and I am a representative of Families Against Court Embezzlement Unethical Standards, FACE US. Luann and I worked together in founding that organization with some other people that are still involved in various respects. We also launched a radio program around our work battling court corruption. That happens on Wednesday nights on Blog Talk Radio on the Hidden Truth Revealed channel, and at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And when I was very young, I started a group called Protectors of the Weak to end bullying. And I have been an activist all my life.
Well, wonderful, Robin. Thank you for joining us. At some other point, drop me an email with your email address because I don't have it. But part of the reason to have this meeting is to check your audio and video capacities, and yours need a little upgrade. It is very hard to understand what you're saying, and I don't know how to fix that, but perhaps you can look at it. We'll also be talking about lighting and other things as well. But Robin, if you could look into that, it would make your presentation all the better. Luann, hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
It's quite all right.
Anyway, my name is Luann Fleming. I work also with Robin Austin, and we are the co-founders of Families Against Court Embezzlement Unethical Standards, FACE US. And we also run a national radio show on Wednesday nights, Mountain Standard Time, on the Hidden Truth Revealed channel on Blog Talk Radio called FACE US Radio. And we've been doing shows now for over 5 years, and almost close to 5 years. And they've been very successful in getting the word out that we felt that the news media was not doing. So this has been very helpful to putting many families together, and we are going to continue to do the same for many years to come.
Thank you very much. And all the way from Greece, Joanna, hi.
Hello, how are you all?
Hi, this is Joanna.
I have to apologize. Yes, I don't know how to put my name up on the screen. I apologize, not very high tech. And I apologize because I had to fall off the radar for some time because I have my mother's aunt as well, but I'm back. So my mother and I escaped from Minnesota to Greece. She had an abusive guardian, and we've been here since 2016. So she's been living in the community. She's safe, she's happy, and has successfully lived in the community when she was told that she was never going to leave the facility. So it's been a good life for 5 years for us.
Good for you. And now, Joanna, just for my information, are you planning on giving me a videotape, or are you going to do it live? Because it's going to be in the middle of the night for you, right?
Oh, however you want it done.
I think a video would be good, and you're good at that. So.
Oh, thank you. I was actually going to do it last night, but my mom.
It's okay.
Last night, so all the stars have to align. I'm ready to do it though.
Very good. It's
It's ready
nice
to
to
go.
see you. You look terrific. Christine, first time we've
Thank
met,
you.
I
Thank
think.
you.
No, I've been on podcast with you and Zena, but anyhow,
Okay.
I will be talking about the family court racketeering industry and specifically why they do it for the federal incentive payments. And the numbers don't lie. Over 40 years, they've collected over 600 billion in child support. The state courts then turn around and they're reimbursed between $1 to $11, depending on the state. They use that money for their social entitlement programs, welfare, judicial, state employee pension funds, building bigger prisons, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to be exposing that.
Terrific. Terrific. Welcome to the group. And next we have Dr. Richard Cordero.
Hello, good afternoon. I have sent you my slides, the one that were supposed to be ready by last Monday. I hope that you get to them. You may have read all the problems that I had with my internet was terminated on Saturday. The termination was finalized on Sunday, and I had to spend a lot of time and effort trying to get it reestablished. And I found out that Verizon does not even have a record of who terminated my account or for what reason. And I bring this to your attention because this links to the proposal to investigate the judiciary for intercepting our mail and email in order to determine who is a critic and to suppress the mail or email, and now apparently also internet connection. And this is very important because of this. If we can interest professors such as those that are on this group, as well as experts of internet technology, we could do an investigation that would attract the attention of the whole nation, because this affects the First Amendment right to freedom of speech and freedom of the press, the right to assemble, to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
So, Richard, I appreciate you coming on. I will tell you the same thing I told Rob and Austin. Your audio is not acceptable. It is very difficult to understand you. Although we've spoken before. If you can't figure out a way to fix that, I would suggest you get one of these, a headset, so that like Zena is wearing. I think your presentation would be much better that way. Some of these problems are computer related and they can't be fixed without doing that. So thank you for that. And I will just tell you, you're not the only one who's having problems. My internet service was also disappeared over the weekend. Disappeared. I got it back. I don't know what happened, but
Did you have to contact your company?
No, I was able to restart it on my own. I'm a little more tech savvy than most, so we'll move on. Next is Teresa Kennedy. Terry, how are you today?
Wait, let me unmute. Okay, I'm fine. Hi, this is Dr. Terry Kennedy. I am President and CEO of Power Living, which is a lifestyle media company, as well as the founder of Elder Dignity, which is an initiative that is fighting for elder rights. I founded that after my aunt, Dr. Lily Sykes White, was exploited under guardianship in Florida.
So your job that you've graciously accepted, and I really thank you for that, is to moderate a panel of guardianship abuse survivors, some of which are with us here, some couldn't make it. Can you give us, and I'm going to shift away from a lot of the introductions because most of us at least know each other to one degree or another. Tell me your thoughts about how that panel, which is the cornerstone of the first session, how do you think that is going to progress and what direction do you want to take it in?
I'm just pulling up the email I sent right before this. And so we have 5, well, including myself, there's 6 people. We have an hour. And so the thought is for it to be an actual, panel. So we will have probably about 8 minutes or so with a dialogue with each person. So I'm going to be asking each person a few questions simply to guide the conversation. It's their story, but I want to keep us on keep a pace, a certain
Right.
cadence.
But I will tell you, there's a little flexibility with that particular panel because I can control some of the things that happen. So if you're a couple of minutes too long, don't worry about it.
Okay.
And if you're a couple of minutes too short, don't worry about it because I haven't put exact times in the program because
Okay.
I don't think it's possible to do that. We're just going to have an order of presentations. So,
But so the vision is to have 2 screens up. I'm on one screen, well, all the screens, but there are 2, the person who is sharing the story, and I'll be up
Right.
and I'll ask a question. They'll, talk for a
Right.
bit. I may interrupt strategically if we're kind of going really long.
Yeah.
And it's really to inspire and inform people about what's going on. Each person has a particular angle. So one is about an escape from an abusive conservatorship, our anonymous ward. Jody is about retaliation. Hillary's talking about becoming an activist. Beverly is about transitioning into liberation from guardianship. Sharon is about exposing the abuse. And I'll talk just a moment about the role of isolation, and then wrap it all up.
Right. And just to let you know, I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I'm going to make you the co-host for that section so you can control the visuals. And I can't thank you enough for agreeing to do this. I know how busy you are. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That's awesome.
My only caveat, though, caveat, and I emailed to you, but I'll say to Elle, is that I am not the expert on rolling video and anything like that. And so the intention is really to have a dialogue. And then if there's video, maybe we can roll that, as you said, Dr. Sugar, at another point.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Next, my friend Zena Crenshaw Logel. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Now, not everybody knows who you are, Zena. Could you give us a really short introduction? Although your introduction should be really long.
Well, Zena Crenshaw Logo, and I'm executive director of what I'll call for short the Law Project. I'm a former civil trial lawyer turned full-time human rights defender as of about 1998. And the Law Project is a good government advocate. We focus on legal system accountability. We are judicial accountability specialists, and we have been over the last 5 years or so been addressing our concerns of organized abuse of the U.S. legal system as a human rights issue. So at our conference, I'll be giving an update on the various special procedures before the United Nations that are addressing that issue, our concerns, and give an update on what's happening, and propose some next steps with regard to particularly those of us who are addressing abusive adult guardianships.
And for those of you who don't know this nice lady, you might want to look up her organization that has done incredible work and I think is kind of on the precipice of making a breakthrough with the United Nations, or at least we hope so. So thank you so much for consenting to join us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And by the way, your video looks fantastic. Your audio sounds great too. Later on,
where do you get those audio headphones, just in case?
You could order on Amazon. They're cheap. They're cheap. There's like $20 or $30. You can use them, for private, watching movies in private or whatever. And before we're done with this today, I want to share my screen to talk about background. In fact, if it's okay with everybody, I want to share my screen with everybody for just a moment, please. If I can find, I can't find it now. I'm sorry. Get rid of that. I'll find that in a minute. Hillary, you're next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hillary Hogue, and I'm an activist with SEER, and what I will be talking about is how I became an activist and a researcher concerning guardianship corruption, predominantly, basically 99% in the state of Florida, how I find cases, how I find other victims, in order to stop the petition from being filed or for the family to dismiss the petition, basically to find the modus operandi of the crimes that are being committed throughout the state of Florida.
Very good. And hopefully the information that you're going to bring forth and share will generate an interest on the part of others who don't yet have those skills to intervene in cases in their areas.
Correct.
Because there's only one Hillary Hogue and there's just too many cases. I think you would agree with that. All right, next we have Rick Black. Rick, go ahead.
Hey, Sam, thanks. My name's Rick Black. My wife and I founded the 501c3 SEER, which stands for the Center for Estate Administration Reform. We really work on two fronts, reform and redress. We've built a national network, more so in the hotspots with regional coordinators that help to investigate cases and counsel families who are facing this tragedy. We use our website very effectively, or our Facebook page to draw folks in to contact us. And I'll give an update, Sam, on those efforts that we're undertaking in key states as well as in Washington, D.C.
Terrific. Thank you very much. And your video and audio sounds great.
Great, thanks.
Beverly, is that you over there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, I thought this computer had the video. I have another one that has video.
Okay,
And
well, we'll just have a picture of you in our minds. But let's pay attention to the video as well. Go ahead.
Of course. I will be discussing how a ward moves successfully from lockdown, isolation to liberation, and many steps that are involved in order to get the records that you need, get housing, because so many of them have lost their homes. So even if they get liberated, they have nowhere to go. And how you get your grounding, that it seems to be a lot more difficult than we might assume to be liberated.
Of course, the real issue is how few people are ever liberated, but it's true. We don't have a lot of experience with people who manage to escape with their lives. And I think that that's an interesting topic that should be well explored. And I'm very happy that you're going to be talking about that.
Thank you. It's very important, because if we don't do our job on that end,
then what's the point of all of this?
Right.
Yeah.
We cannot just liberate and disappear.
Very good. Now I see someone named Jennifer King. Jennifer, can you unmute yourself?
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Jennifer. My name's Jennifer, and I think I shared an email. My last name isn't really King. That's another name in the family. I think you all know what the last name is, but I'm experimenting. My apologies for not having my face and having my actual last name. I've been in Ireland almost 2 years.
Well, now I know who you are. Okay.
Now you know who I am, and I'm doing great, but I don't want to serve the Guardian's interests by putting something out there on a Google footprint that will be searchable by prospective employers. I'm doing very well here, and I'm shortlisted for a research position in London, and I'm, you know what I mean? I have a lot of good prospects, but nowadays, the first thing everyone does is they Google you, and I don't want to raise any questions. So my apologies for that, and thanks for inviting me on. And that photo that you see there is the view from my living room window. So that's Dublin. And I might put a different photo up for the
I think you
symposium.
should.
I will.
Yeah.
This I was just pulled today. Is the anyway, I can figure that out. I thought of something more city center of Dublin, something recognizable.
So Jennifer, you're going to talk about what it's like to be in an abusive guardianship personally, right?
And I think that really the two points, well, the main point I want to make in my, which I'm not going to go on at length now, but anybody can be a victim of this. And one of the ways that the guardians attack us, one of the ways they weaken us more precisely, is by kind of shaming us. And I've been through this myself with like which members of my family, you know, I have a bankrupt brother who's been disbarred, and he supposedly defended my rights. And, you know, many families have weak elements like that who got co-opted, which allowed this to happen. But that's not really, I'm more focused on the lawyers and the judges. And I mean, this is really a racket. And so, you know, every family has, I remember a president whose brother, you know, peanut farmer, his brother had a lot of problems. Like every family, we shouldn't allow ourselves to be ashamed of that, and we shouldn't go down that path. I think I might have, my screen just did something weird. Anyway, how's my audio? Am I sounding okay? And I just want feedback
Your
on.
audio is just fine. Just fine. Terrific.
Yeah,
And I'm so glad. What?
Just so you, I'm sorry, doctor, just so you know, it happened to all of our screens. It just changed.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was me,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I'm
All
sorry.
right, that's
That was
fine.
me. All right. And Jody, would you like to unmute yourself?
There we go. Hi, everyone. My name
Hi,
is Jody
Jody.
White, and I'm from Michigan. And I'm very, very excited to be on the panel that I am with Ms. J and all the other advocates. My story is a little bit unique because it was my in-laws family that was being harassed. I have 35 years in real estate experience. I also was very political. I was a state committee woman for the Republican Party. So when my husband was having some issues, I didn't think anything of contacting the Attorney General at the time and writing emails to the Mackinac Policy Center and calling the FBI. And then when I met Rick Black, 1, 2, 3, we thought it was all just going to be taken care of. But unfortunately, within 9 months and multiple emails from me, I was assaulted from behind and thrown to the ground and then falsely accused. And so my presentation will be just what has kind of happened to me. And it's very scary because I am still being retaliated against. And I am going to the Supreme Court with my concern. And I've started a court watching program here in Michigan. And these judges don't like when they see Jody White because they know I know what's going on. And I like to email everybody and I like to do videos, and they don't like that about me. So I've created a lot of enemies, and it's been hard. But because of this support group that I'm within, you guys keep encouraging me that this is about the bigger picture. So that's what my conversation will be on.
So a technical comment, you're doing this on an iPad or?
No, actually my brother's in the hospital. So I'm at my mom's.
Okay.
And I will be on a computer and I'll be, but I'm sorry, I do apologize.
No problem. Just wanted to make that note. Next, Louis Barreto, who is an attorney. Whoops, there you are. You want to unmute yourself, Louis? There you go. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Okay. Sorry,
The floor is yours.
Okay, I was a little late. I was somewhere else in the Zoom world. Okay, and I guess you want a synopsis about what I'll be speaking about.
Well,
correct?
maybe you want to just give us a couple of sentences about who you are, since I think very few people here know you.
Okay, my name is Louis Barreto. I've been practicing, it'll be 30 years, I think, next year, in the area of probate and guardianship litigation. I represent some institutional guardians. I represent individual guardians. I've opposed guardianships. So I've been on all sides of the spectrum here, right? Some pro guardianship stuff, some con guardianship stuff. In recent years in Florida, there is I'm going to say, an ability to trump. No reference to the former Trump guy, but there is a movement where people create advanced directives, meaning a durable power of attorney, a designation of a healthcare surrogate, a living will, a designation of a guardian in advance or in anticipation that a guardian might be needed. And it's become ever so easy to circumvent these documents that were put in place by the alleged incapacitated person. Courts are sometimes reluctant based on just, I'm going to call them scurrilous, baseless, semi-baseless accusations that say, oh, this document was obtained with undue influence, or the person was already incompetent. And the easy way out is we just won't deal with the document. And then by doing that, the wishes and the desires of the alleged incapacitated person go out the door. And then now what happens is, because of their possible fight between family members, then a professional guardian steps in. Now, I've read a little bit about this group, and so I'm going to say this. In my view of the world, not all professional guardians are bad. What I will say is that nobody is going to take care of a loved one like a loved one. That's just my view of the world. A professional guardian, they differ in how they look at things. Their job is to just maintain the so-called status quo and keep the person in the lifestyle that they're used to. Sometimes those decisions clash with I guess you would say, a more meager way of doing things. And it becomes very costly. So my presentation will talk about the ease and the facility that which these advanced directives are so easily set aside or disregarded by the court, basically trumping the rights of a person who took the time to go and see a lawyer, make their wishes known, put those wishes in writing so that they could avoid the perils of guardianship.
That sounds really great. And the perspective of having been on both sides of the argument is so valuable. As you know, even as an expert witness, your credibility increases if you've been able to see both sides of the argument. From a technical point of view, Louis, the fluorescent light over your left shoulder is a problem. And that reminds me about lighting. If you can, I think everybody, Beverly, Hillary, I think you're lighting. I'll talk to you about that another time.
Okay.
But otherwise, thank you, Louis. I appreciate it. And let's go to Tina. Tina, you want to unmute yourself? Oh, Tina.
Yes, hello.
There you go. Hi.
Yes, hello.
So tell us who you are. Not everybody knows who you are.
Okay, my name is Tina Lindsay. Most people know me by Christina Brockovich.
And what are you going to be talking about at this
I'm an
seminar?
advocate, a victim, and investigator. And I've been investigating the probate courts here in Michigan and working with multiple families and assisting them, getting them out of a guardianship or conservatorship, or getting the family justice if their loved ones.
And you are bringing a unique perspective in that you did a lot of your work with a private investigator who's going to be with you, and you are about to get your private investigator license as well.
Yes.
Which dovetails with whose presentation? I can't remember offhand, but with Hillary's, of course, with how to investigate these cases. So now that we all know what we're going to hear, I want to share my screen this way. And if you'll bear with me, I want to show you the 10 tips that I emailed you. Remember these? Be
Yes.
passionate and energetic.
Okay.
Share your personal experiences. Encourage your audience to stay with you because it's going to be a long seminar. We're going to have some breaks in between, but it's a long, long seminar for 2 days. Make sure that the audience expectations are met. If you're going to talk about A, don't get sidetracked and talk about B. We have enough presentations that practically every aspect of this is going to be covered, I hope. So try to stay in your lane and focus on what you really want to get across. Present to a global audience. In other words, you don't know who's watching. I will, but you won't know. You won't know where they are, and you won't know what time it is. So don't say good morning or good afternoon. Say hello. It's always great to introduce yourself, and if you represent somebody or something, to represent them quickly and get that out of the way, because the people are going to be interested in what you have to say. And don't sweat the small stuff. If there's a technical problem, it's my fault and I'll fix it. You just concentrate on getting your messages across. If you're making slides, please make them concise. There is nothing more of a turnoff than long-winded slides. 3 points per slide, maybe 4, is all anybody can handle on a perception level. So if you need to, make more slides that are smaller or contain less bullet points. Be punctual. Please be punctual. You need to, everybody is going to sign in at least 15 minutes before the webinar for a very short practice session, during which I will recheck your technical stuff. And I don't know how we'll be able to fix it 15 minutes before, but since some of you aren't presenting till later on in the morning or later on in the evening, we'll have time to at least try to address it. Thinking outside the box means exactly what it sounds like. Try to be original, try to be clever. This is probably not a good place to make jokes, to be perfectly honest, but interesting, very short anecdotes are perfectly fine. I can't emphasize this last one enough. We really do need to practice these things. While we will be recording everything, you're really only going to get one chance to do this right. And if you do make a mistake, if you screw up, pretend it didn't happen. Just move right along, because the chances are the audience won't know you unless it's colossal, which I don't think is going to happen with this group. Just move right along. If you make a misspeak, you miss a word, you screw up a slide, don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine. None of us are professional, well, few of us are professional presenters, and you don't have to hold yourself to that kind of enormous standard. Next, I want to talk about the article that I sent you, the letter that I sent you. And I want to talk about it because at the end of the second session, I'm going to be presenting this or something like this as a demand for public hearings. I'll just speak myself personally. I have given up on trying to convince legislators to do the right thing. I don't trust them. I never have. And I think it's a waste of my time. Others have a different perspective, and God bless them. Let's hope that they do the right thing. But in the meantime, what I've learned from the I Care a Lot movie and from the Britney Spears stuff is that the public wants to know about this. Once you whet their appetite, you've got to feed their appetite. And for my money, the best way to do this is with public hearings. And since this is a state-based rather than a federal problem, And while I am attempting, as are other people, to work with legislators like Greg Stubbe and maybe Matt Gaetz and maybe Jim Jordan and maybe Charlie Crist, the real problem is in the states, as we all know. So what I've tried to do here, and I need your feedback and input, is to frame this problem with something I know really well as a physician. This is a public health crisis. It's a public health crisis because it kills people. People who wind up in guardianships suffer premature death. It cannot be argued, it cannot be denied, it's factual. And there are departments in every state called the Department of Health, which deal with infectious diseases, pandemics, and the like. And this letter, this demand, plays and leverages that identification as a public health problem as a demand for public health hearings. I would ask each of you to look through this. I have a personal interest and vendetta, if you want to know the truth, about getting this out as a public health problem. It qualifies. It's exactly like the pandemic, just a little smaller. But I will tell you, over the last 40 years, the number of people who have died prematurely in abusive guardianships rivals what's happening in the pandemic. It's probably not as large, but it's in the same ballpark. So please look at this article. I've sent it to each of you, and whatever comments you have, I would very much appreciate. Lastly, I want to share with you a draft. I just missed it. Here we go. On Monday, this past Monday, March 15th, a number of us, Rick and Hillary included, and I think Luann, you were there, were barred from a hearing by Magistrate Vicki Reeves in Hillsborough County 13th Judicial District. I'm pissed off. I don't know about the rest of you, but my time is too valuable to be ignored and dissed by some magistrate. She works for us. And for her to do what she did, which is basically say, screw all you people. This is not a closed hearing, but I'm throwing you all out. We're not discussing anything that's privileged in this meeting, but I'm throwing you all out. I don't care if one of the attorneys doesn't mind if you're here. I'm throwing you all out. So I am going to write to Chief Judge Ronald Ficarota, and I think the rest of us should too. But I took the time to reach out to a judge in the probate court and asked her what she would recommend to do if she were in our shoes. And these are her recommendations. And I think they're very timely. And one of them is send a notice to the judge. And the second one is to reach out to her supervisor or to the general counsel for the circuit. And I think, can all of you see this?
No, we need to move it over a little bit.
Move it over a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can do that, but you know what? I'll send this to all of you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, it was intended
Thank
for all
you.
of you. And I would like you to act on it and forward it and make it go viral as you see fit, because at least it comes from a judge who knows at least the problem and maybe how to deal with it.
If I could just, Sam, interject quickly on two things. I have to leave to take
Yeah,
one
so
of
do I.
my children, but more importantly, about what we were just speaking to, I contacted the JA for the head judge in Hillsborough concerning this hearing, and she told me that we cannot email anything to the head judge. We have got to do it snail mail. Were you
Nope.
told that as well?
Write down this email address. Here it comes. Ready?
Ready.
This is the judge's assistant. CASHKA@FLJUD13.org. Her name is Kim Carlton. Her maiden name is Kim Cash. And you can understand why she changed it from Kim Cash to Kim Carlton when she works at a judge. you know, oh, I'm the cash lady, you know,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't doubt that she is, but that's a different story. She has agreed to forward any email she receives addressed to the judge, Ficaretto, directly
Fantastic.
to the judge. So that obstacle I managed to overcome. Pretty
Great.
good, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty
make
good.
sure-
Yeah.
Can we make sure we put all that like in an email so we can announce that on our radio show and talk to people as well?
Yeah.
And I have the email, Luann, so tonight I will make sure that I mention.
Yeah, she's going to be sorry she ever talked to me, to be perfectly
You go, Dr. Sam.
Okay, any questions? Because we're running a little behind. Any questions at all to
No.
any of us?
I'll ask
I
one.
would just like
One at a
to
time, please.
I would just like to ask, I have made an adjustment in my audio. Is it coming through any clearer or any better at
It
this
is a
point?
little better, but it's still extremely muffled. Wouldn't everybody agree?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not us, it's you, Robin.
Sam, is there a time limit? And with respect to Terry's panel, are we giving our presentations in that panel?
Yes.
I'm not really understanding the logistics.
Terry, would you respond, please?
Let me unmute. Yes, which is why I want a better understanding of who is truly presenting slides and who is, because the original vision was for this to be a panel discussion.
Right.
To be interactive. And not kind of a one-way thing. And that's my preference as a moderator. It's just more interesting and we can keep a certain cadence. And so we can go offline. I want to understand when you say presentation, what that really is, if you're telling your story.
Right, and I suggest, Beverly, that you and Terry have a little dialogue either on the phone or online, and I think that's going to be easy to straighten out.
Now, while my mic is live, Dr. Sugar, one thing to note for your own background is sometimes the green screen goes out.
I know. I've ordered a green screen to sit on my chair. It just hasn't gotten here yet. But let me make a suggestion, Beverly. I can talk to you separately, and Hillary as well. You both need to have your, what do you call those, Terry? I forgot myself. That Zoom allows you to put a background. Like I have that blue background behind me.
Right, a
I think
virtual
it's virtual background. On the very first icon for Zoom, you'll see where your picture is. Just click on that and you can create a virtual background, because your background, and particularly Bev, is very distracting and it's very dark. I would suggest you try to find some light. Everybody else is okay though. Mary Ann, why don't you unmute yourself for just a second and just give us a little feedback on what you've heard.
I have just recently learned about these guardianships through Christine Morris when I first met her. And I find this very frightening. And my focus has been on the family court abusing families and children. And now I'm hearing about these guardianships that I think I would like to interview a lot of you so we can educate the public on what's going on. And another reason is I'm actually going to have my father live with me probably, hopefully by June or July. He's 83 and I don't want this happening to him. So I also need to learn more about this as well.
So Mary Ann, if you'll drop me an email, I can facilitate connecting you to a lot of us. It's drsam@AAAPG.net. So we have 3 weeks to go, so there's plenty of time to prepare. If any of you needs anything from me, I'm available to you at any time. My goal is really simple, and that is to have as many people see these presentations as possible. Um, I have offered and will repeat the offer to provide free tickets to members of any organization that is represented here. And actually, because we've already covered our costs, I am really seriously thinking about opening it up the rest of the way for free for everybody. I think that would be a really good idea. I just haven't quite figured out how to do that yet technically. I have invited the Florida State Guardianship Association because they're going to be represented here by Anthony Palmieri. I've invited all of the IGs in the state of Florida. And my request of each of you who can, who's in a position to, is to invite people. I don't really care what their organization is, but if you have the ability to reach out to friends, to family, especially to family, send them an invite, let them come and go as they please. I don't think anybody's going to do all 9 hours except me maybe, but let's jack up the attendance, because after all, you're asking them to watch you want to be the star of your own show. Let's jack up the attendance, make this really widespread, get the word out, and let's save the next victim before they become a victim.
Dr. Sugar, I just wanted to add in there that we want to be also interviewing family or, everybody that's on this panel on our radio show. And also as you as well, so for the next like 3 weeks. I think that will help that out as well. So I'll be in touch with you about all that. So
but
email me.
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Sugar,
Yes, sir.
have you considered the specific proposals that I have made in slide C and D precisely to increase the audience using the professors? I do not see any professor that were on the list here, but they are an excellent way of getting through and establishing the citizens' hearings, which is very much in line with what you said before. Forget about congressional hearings. Let's try to use the professors at university to go through the press office of the university, going through the groups.
And I would like very much to do that. What I'd like to do is introduce the idea here, which you just did. But in order to increase our attendance, which I view as the only thing that's important, because I know all the presentations are going to be great, I would like to take advantage of your suggestion. I'm not quite ready to do it yet, but you can be sure that I will be in touch with you at the beginning of next week, either Sunday or Monday, to make that happen in real time. Because I like the idea. Richard Cordero, as you know, is about exposing judicial corruption. And he has a wonderful idea about unity and bringing everybody together. And we'll work on that, Richard, I assure you. I'm running really late, and so is everybody else.
Right, really
it's time
excited,
to go.
really excited. Dr. Sugar, thank you so much for putting
You're
this together.
welcome, guys, and I can't thank you all enough. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Sugar.
Bye now. Bye, Ms.